Have you ever wished you could clone yourself and let your clone go out and make the money? The day has come, and you don't have to clone your whole self, just your voice. ElevenLabs has just announced Voice Actor Payouts, and this program allows you to clone your voice, let other people use that cloned voice, and then you get paid for it. You can choose whether to set your payout rate to the ElevenLabs default rate or set your own custom rate. You get paid on a per 1,000 characters used rate, and they say the default rate varies based on how long you're willing to commit to sharing your voice. You can choose to receive your payouts in cash or increased characters credited to your ElevenLabs account. Be realistic, I doubt you'll be able to retire after setting up your voice clone. But who knows, you might make a few bucks or a lot of bucks. And it seems like a real no-brainer if you already have a voice clone that you're using for your projects or you want to have your voice clone for your own projects. If you're concerned about what your cloned voice might be used for after you make it available for other people, I imagine you're not alone. I'm sure there's a lot of people that wouldn't want their voices used in adult projects. Maybe they wouldn't want their grandma to find that and take them out of the will. Of course, not sure why grandma would be finding that. That's a whole nother story. ElevenLabs has some things that can help you with that. For one, they have content moderators who are tracking usage, and you can also set up automated filters to control the categories that your content's being used in. Now, realistically, anything you put on the internet, once it's out there, who knows what can happen to it. Someone could use your voice clone on ElevenLabs in a way that you're perfectly okay with, and someone else could take that into another system that'll clone it without verification and do nasty things with it. But realistically, if you've got your voice out there anywhere on the internet, that could happen. I like the fact that ElevenLabs is bringing human beings into the mix. It gives voiceover artists an outlet, and I imagine they've been impacted by all the AI voicing that's going on out there. And sure, I highly doubt they're going to make the same amount of money from offering a cloned voice on ElevenLabs as they would by selling their voiceover time and talent. But at least it's a once and done kind of thing, and then they can earn royalties from it going on. And ElevenLabs is also open to licensing deals with voice actors that include things like guaranteed earnings through upfront licensing fees. For folks that use AI voices, this means there'll be new voices in the pool, made from humans instead of more variations of the existing voices. To be part of the Voice Actor Payout program, you have to have a professionally cloned voice, a PVC. The instant voice cloning does not qualify. Professional voice cloning is available in the creator plan and above. I think this is a good thing, because I suspect a lot of people are going to be uploading and sharing their professionally cloned voices. But if this was open to everybody, even the non-users of ElevenLabs, people that aren't using it otherwise, I think the floodgates would just be completely open and it would probably be very overwhelming. Also, it's nice that they're giving the advantage in this program to the ElevenLabs customers who are actually using ElevenLabs. In order to create a professional voice clone, which I'll show you the steps here in a minute, you're going to have to upload at least 30 minutes of high-quality audio, preferably, they say, 3 hours of high-quality audio. And then you'll have to wait about 4 weeks while they run the model. Apparently, they only run this model about once a month, and how long it takes depends on how many are in the queue and where you are in that queue. Then you'll make your voice available and choose your settings, like whether you want to be paid in character credits through ElevenLabs or you want money through Stripe. You'll also decide whether you want the standard payout rate or set your own custom rate. Make your moderation and filtering options and decide whether you want your voice to be available to free users or not. I imagine you're not going to get paid from free user uses. ElevenLabs has some tips for us on recording our voice. The first thing to keep in mind is that it's going to try to clone all the intricacies in your voice and all the background noises that are in your audio. It doesn't know a background noise from part of your speech. So if you've got a fan going or elephants running up and down the hallway, you might want to take care of that before you start recording. You need to have just one voice in your sample. It's going to assume that everything it hears in there is one single person. So if you have two people speaking, it's either going to get confused or it's going to try and mesh those two, and Lord only knows what you'll come up with. The minimum sample recording that you upload needs to be 30 minutes, but they do recommend 3 hours as being optimal. This doesn't have to be in one single file, especially if you have a large file like 3 hours. They recommend that you do split it up and make it easier to upload. And it has to be your voice. You can't upload someone else's voice for cloning. They are going to make you go through a verification process, and they do recommend that you use the same equipment and in the same environment to do your verification as you were in when you recorded the samples originally. So no, you can't just go grab 3 hours of Morgan Freeman speaking, upload that, clone it, and then make a bunch of money off Morgan Freeman's voice. That's a no-go. ElevenLabs recommends using high-quality equipment for best results, including a pop filter to keep your plosives down. Now, that's all very subjective depending on what kind of equipment you have, what kind of environment you're in. In fact, they mention a sound-treated environment if you have one. Most of us do not. But the real takeaway here is the better that you can get the audio to sound before you send it up to ElevenLabs, the better your clone is going to be. Now, to that end, ElevenLabs says that you can, and they actually encourage you to pre-process your audio before you upload it. You can take it through something like Descript that has studio sound or any of the other sound processing AI jazz that's out there, or do it yourself with your EQs and compressors and limiters and all that if you're comfortable with those tools. They recommend ensuring a consistent volume. The ideal range is between -23 decibels and -18 decibels. So keep that in mind. If you have things that get really, really loud and then really, really quiet, that might be an issue. A caution I would give you about using any kind of AI noise reduction or AI things, even studio sound in Descript, is to be careful and make sure that you go back through then and listen to your audio. Something that can happen, I've described it in some other videos, is when you apply some of these fancy AI things, you can get weird results. For instance, it may cut off trailing words at the end of your sentences or give you weird waves. I had that happen in a file recently where it just sort of cut in and out and was kind of odd. So those aren't 100%. They're really good, but you'll want to double check that audio before you send it up to make sure it's really good and it's really what you want your voice to sound like. Speaking of what it sounds like, ElevenLabs also says to keep the style in mind when you're recording. The way you read an audiobook is quite different from the way you might record a radio ad. One might be soft and gentle, the other one might be really loud and aggressive, or even over the top. And you probably don't want to mix those styles in the sample that you're going to be uploading. My guess, I don't know, but it's probably going to try and make the average of all of those, and it'll come out with maybe a middle-of-the-road voice that doesn't sound like any of your voice styles. To get started, go to ElevenLabs, sign up for the creator plan. There's a link in the description. You'll get your first month for half off, so instead of the $22 a month normal price, it'll be $11 for that first month. Once you have your creator or above subscription, just click Voices, Create, then click the Add Generative or Clone Voice, the plus sign that's circled, and down at the bottom of the list, click Professional Voice Cloning. Then upload your sample file or files. If you already have lots of audio recorded, you can certainly use that. Again, keep in mind those tips about having the same style and only having one speaker and removing any background noise or not having any. So if you've already got sound effects or music on that audio, you're probably going to want to figure out how you can get a vocal only track, just your voice, and get it isolated before you upload that. If you don't have 30 minutes to 3 hours of recordings yet, or you want to make something specific, the words that are said in the recording really don't matter. It's not that you need to say specific things. It wants to get a broad sample of how your voice works, what your inflection and intonation, and even any of your little idiosyncrasies. It wants to pick up all that, and then it'll be able to apply it to all kinds of words, whether you set them in the recording or not. Maybe if you want it to be conversational, you could just sit there and talk to your microphone. Put a stuffed animal up and have a chat. ElevenLabs also has some pre-made scripts that are very long, and they're created for specific styles. So check those out, or go to something like ChatGPT or Bard Gemini or Copilot Bing, whatever they are these days. Tell it to write you something and what you want to use it for. Admittedly, I have not created my professional voice clone yet. That's what I'm off to do right after this. I put it off. I'm sure the same reason a lot of other people have is because every time I look at it, I say, that's going to take a month to get back. Let me go work on something that'll have some kind of visual progress right now. The samples I've seen from people that have done the professional voice cloning are really, really good. If you've used it and had good or bad experiences, let me know. I'd really like to hear how it's working for everybody. Just like I said in the beginning, I don't expect anybody to get rich or retire from this. I don't know, you might make pennies, you might make dollars. I don't know. But for creators that want to use their own clone voice in their projects, it just makes great sense to me to go ahead and put it out there for hire as well. Let it make you some cash or extra credits to do your projects.